I'm back. Road Rants on Independence Day. This is going to be another Rhodes podcast, video podcast, where we will do an informal review on a movie. And what better day to do Independence Day, which has sort of been on my radar anyway, to review than Independence Day on the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. Special thank you to the men and women that have served and that currently serves. Be safe, Rhodes Squadron, today. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which means you can probably do just about anything. Just don't blow your face off with a firework. Okay? Now, on to Independence Day. Now, for full clarification, Independence Day is one of my favorite movies of all time. It came out in 1996. It starred Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonald. The great Robert Loggia was in it. A lot of people forget that. And the anticipation for this movie, I'll take you back to 1996. The anticipation for this movie's release was wild. It was huge. From the first time those trailers dropped, I mean, I remember the trailers. I went to movies all the time back in 96, at least once a week. And I remember seeing the trailer, and it was like, whoa, what is this? Will Smith, this was really his second major film role after Bad Boys. And this movie is one of the reasons why Will Smith, I have never backed off of Will Smith being one of my favorites. Because he's just been in too many movies that I just love. The Bad Boy films, Independence Day. I liked him as Deadshot in Suicide Squad. I liked Bright. This movie opened, it got a limited release in July 2nd, 1996, and went full on July 3rd. I was there, opening showing. A large group of us went, I think 5 or 6. I think sometimes, I at least know with me, theater experience can play a role in how much you enjoy a movie, and it was a blast. Packed theater, everybody was completely into this movie. Now, I'm going to say something controversial, but that's fine. This is my, next to the Star Wars franchise, this is my favorite sci-fi movie of all time, or outside of Star Wars, okay, or movie that had to do with aliens. Now, I want to preface this by saying that doesn't include an actual alien xenomorph or a predator, because I also love those movies. Alien, Aliens, Predator, Predators. That's the one from Robert Rodriguez. Predator 2 even, but I don't like Predator 2 as much as I like this movie. I love this film. I do. I saw it 4 times in the theater upon release. I think I saw it. I saw it twice in the first 2 days. I know that. And this was the largest grossing film of 1996. $306 million in the U.S. And it grossed something like around $820 million worldwide. And you may be like, well, there's a lot of bigger films than that. Well, there are now. But at the time, this was a time when films didn't hit $1 billion. They didn't. This was a monster. This movie's got one of the best first acts ever as the alien ships slowly begin to enter airspace and coming through the clouds. Very ominous, very cool. We meet Will Smith. His character, he is a pilot in the Air Force. We meet Jeff Goldblum's character. He works for he's like a technical nerd guy, maybe what we would call an IT guy now, for a cable news network is what I always gathered, because they were talking about the TV antennas and everything on top of the buildings. And as the aliens come in, I mean, you just feel the tension build, because you're like, something's going down here and it's not going to be good. And as Jeff Goldblum begins to investigate in all of his nerdiness, he discovers a signal that's being transmitted among all the ships, and he has determined it is a countdown. Now, of course, there's mass panic. This movie was directed by Roland Emmerich. At the time, he was known for 2 movies, Stargate and another genre classic, Universal Soldier. Yeah, another good movie. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren in their prime, which, of course, had a great fight at the end of it. And he would go on to do 2012, one of my favorite underrated movies, Day After Tomorrow. I love that movie. If I start doing a countdown of my most underrated movies, Day After Tomorrow may make the list. I will let you know Independence Day is in my top 40 films of all time. Favorite films of all time. Not your favorite films, my favorite films of all time. Okay, and no, it doesn't necessarily have to be, The Godfather Part 2 from an acting perspective. Did I enjoy it? Did I enjoy the movie? How much did I enjoy the movie? Did I have fun seeing the movie? Do I still like to watch the movie periodically? Yeah, I've seen this movie 100 times. Probably. Of course, Will Smith has got... he's got a lady friend, Vivica A. Fox. Good God, she was a looker. And her little boy. What happens is the cities start emptying out. People are in panic. They're trying to get out of town. And amongst all this is, of course, the countdown. And the countdown was great because it gave us an added anticipation of people trying to get the hell out of town. Because you felt like something is coming. And, of course, in the trailer, we had seen that blast right down on top of the White House. Boom. So you knew this isn't going to go well. Now, one of the things I loved about this movie was we have some really cool fighter jet, alien fighter dogfights in this. Very cool. Very reminiscent of the first Star Wars movie in a lot of ways. And some of those WW2 films, where dogfights. Okay, we don't. If you think about it, in the history of sci-fi, we haven't had too many films that do the dogfight thing in space or against alien spacecrafts, etc., outside of Star Wars. Fast-moving, laser blast, blah, blah, blah. Harry Connick Jr. is in this, too. He's Will Smith's buddy. And we hadn't seen that much, and we still don't get that nearly enough. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say they put out a sequel to this, and it's one of the worst films I've ever seen. It was a wild disappointment, and one of the reasons it was such a disappointment is because they could not get... Look, not getting Will Smith to come back was a big deal. It was a huge deal. And on top of it, we find out that he got killed off screen. I hate that. I hated that. Okay? Because, look, I think if you'd wrote a better story, And originally, Will Smith was supposed to be part of the story, but he didn't want to come back. And of course, they don't want to pay. That's what it really boils down to. If they'd have told Will Smith, we'll give you $25 million to be in Independence Day 2, he would have said, okay, I'll do it. But they wanted to pay somebody $5 million or $7 million or something like that. Don't be cheap. And the movie bombed, by the way, and killed the hope for a third one. Even though there's been rumors out there of a third one and Will Smith actually coming back. I don't know how that's supposed to happen. So, of course, the countdown ends and the alien ship start blasting major cities. Will Smith gets in a dogfight. His ship crashes. He does take an alien ship down with him. And he actually drags an alien, I think, out into the desert. And out in the desert is a caravan of RVs, motorhomes, travel trailers, etc., etc. There's a group of youngsters. They're tied into a camp of people. Included in the camp is Randy Quaid, who happens to be an ex-military pilot and also a complete and total kook. And he was fantastic as the complete and total kook. Now, while this is going on, in the race to get out, we meet the President of the United States, played by Bill Pullman. Yes, of Spaceballs fame. I like Bill Pullman. Lone Star, if I'm not going nuts. Lone Star. He's great as the president in this movie. He is, and he's ex-military, which even adds another little layer onto it. I love the fact that Jeff Goldblum and his father, Judd Hirsch, are trying to get somewhere, and he's trying to get to his wife who works for the president. That's how him and the president and his wife and Judd Hirsch all come together in this story, because they escape on Air Force One. The First Lady, Mary McDonnell, she's not so lucky. She does not make it, ultimately. Now, what's really funny is the president, Judd Hirsch, makes a comment about Area 51. And the president's like, that's just a bunch of hokey blah, blah, blah. And one of his staff members goes, that's not entirely accurate. And you hear one of them say, wait, what? Which part? There is an Area 51. And it just so happens that's the same area where Will Smith crashed. And yeah, there's a lot of that movie magic convenience going on, but it all works. So they're like, let's head to Area 51. And Brent Spiner from Next Generation Star Trek is there as a really off-the-wall, long-haired scientist. We find out there's aliens there. They have some kind of telepathy. Bill Pullman gets sort of telepathy with this alien. He determines the aliens are like, oh shit, they're going to kill us all. So he's like, fuck them. We are going to go to war with these cats. So they go out. Bill Pullman gives one of the best fire you up pre-battle speeches in all of the history of film in this movie. Today is our Independence Day. We all remember that. And it was like, fuck yeah, it is. I mean, it fired you up. It's one of the greatest speeches ever. Prior to them going to battle. Okay, they're at a base. They got a few jets. Randy Quaid has said, I'm a pilot. I'm going to fly. And there is a determination that they've got an alien aircraft at Area 51. It's the one that crash landed. They thought it was broke, but when the alien showed up, it reactivated itself. And Jeff Goldblum says, we need to blow if we disable the mothership, we can screw up everything for everybody. Okay, all the other ships, we can bring them down, take them down. They're trying to get the shields down. These ships, including the little ones, have shields that the fighter pilots can't blast through. The U.S. fighter pilots, right? So they get up there. Will Smith is like, I'll fly it. I can fly anything. Evidently, he's like one of the best pilots in the country. And he's a hot shot. And Jeff Goldblum is like, well, I'll go because I can upload a virus into the system of the mothership. Now, again, we're talking movie magic here, okay? People could be like, wait, well, how would he know the interface and blah, blah, blah? I get it. Who gives a shit? Again, not Citizen Kane here, okay? Summer epic. This is the epitome of summer blockbuster epicness. In case you're wondering, other movies that got released that year, Twister, which was, I think, the second highest grossing film of the year, another one of my favorites. The Rock, from Michael Bay, also came out, also another one of my favorites. Eventually, I'll have to do a review of both of those. I love both of those movies are in my top 40 of all time. Yeah. John Matrix has a top 20 of all time that's got 71 films in it. I have a top 40 of all time that actually only has 40 films in it. Sorry, John. Okay, so Jeff Goldblum, they get up to the ship. They think they're stuck up there. He uploads the thing. The shields come down. They commence an attack, and we get all kinds of fighting happening, dog fighting. It's great. But ultimately, one of the ships is coming over Area 51. They have got to get this big-ass ship down because it's going to blast Area 51 with that massive laser. And Randy Quaid sacrifices himself, flying right up into the laser hole, the laser cannon of the ship, and blows the ship up. Now, on a side note, everybody thinks Randy Quaid is nuts because he claimed he was kidnapped and probed by aliens many years earlier. What comes to find out, evidently, he really was, which is really funny. It's really ironic. It's really cool. He's off the wall crazy. He's half drunk. He flies crop dusters. Next to Kingpin, this is probably Randy Quaid's best movie, I would say. Right? Jeff Goldblum was in his peak. This was Jurassic Park area, 93 through, he was in the Lost World too. So, and Will Smith coming into his prime, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It's not The Godfather Part 2. It's not The Empire Strikes Back. No, it's not in that top 20 range. But in the big scale of things, yeah, it's in my top 40 films of all time. Probably somewhere in the 30s, 30 to 40. I'd have to look at my list. I've actually got a list, and I guess I should have pulled it out and looked for it. Okay. But a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed this movie as much as I have enjoyed basically any film ever made. That's a fact. Okay? That's a fact. Now, again, I recognize it's not The Departed. It's not that kind of extremely serious tone of a movie and where the acting blows you away like Joker or a movie like that. But it is the quintessential, one of the gold standards of summer epic action movies. And far as purely sci-fi, not Aliens, not Predator, this, next to the Star Wars franchise, it's my second favorite sci-fi movie. It is. It is. Once you take those two other franchises out, because to me, those are more like sci-fi horror, really a different genre of film, if you ask me. If you set those aside, Aliens, Predator movies over here, purely sci-fi, this is my second favorite. Unfortunately, I can just call it a movie because Resurgence, or whatever that sequel was, is it's weird. One of the best films I've ever seen. One of the worst sequels I've ever seen. Not Last Jedi terrible, but pretty damn bad. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. What am I going to take off here? The visual effects were fantastic for 1996. They still look good. The sound was fantastic. Emmerich does disaster so well, chaos so well. The dogfights were great in this movie. The humor was perfect and not misplaced and mistimed like in The Last Jedi or some movie like that. It's hard. I can't find a flaw with this movie. I really can't. For the kind of movie it is, I can't find a flaw in it. Tell me what you think, Rhodes Squadron. Good God, I can't imagine anybody hates this movie. Right? Peace, I'm out. Till next time.
King Kong in the